Hey, this is B from Kongs R Us, and we met Wonderland Amusements at Pinball Expo, but now we finally have some news worth talking about. It is their latest 3D renderings of their playfield. Before we take a look at the playfield, there have been a couple other announcements by Wonderland Amusements. They did announce who the artist was. It's going to be Carlos Mendoza, and he does more darkly beautiful style artwork. So this is going to be the style of the Alice theme. So you'll see it's much more closer to the books rather than the Disney version or even the Alice in Wonderland by Dutch Pinball. So it'll be a nice contrast to see what they come up from an artwork standpoint. They also hired Steve Condris. Steve looks like he is a homebrew pinball guy to be able to consult and help out from the pinball room, and so his technical expertise will be able to give some pinball knowledge on this project. So looking forward to seeing what he does as well. So here we have two images of the playfield design for Wonderland Amusements Alice pinball machine. So this is the first time we're taking a look at this up closely and can kind of see what's gonna happen here. And first off, it has more than what I saw in the Zizzo pinball machines at the very least, and it looks pretty decent from a pinball layout. It has a right ramp that comes back on a wire form. You have a left ramp that also comes back on a wire form. So those ramps look plastic, but there's actual metal wire forms, which is nice to see. There's 3 pop bumpers as well. There's an orbit. There's kind of an inner lane. It looks like there's a kind of kinetic ball there that can kind of like bash. Look like there's a ball lock in this top left corner right there. There's also on the next page 3 targets that you can hit there, as well as the LED cutouts of what's going to be on the game itself. So this kind of starts to show you, could there be some actual game code involved with this? When you see 3 targets in front of the ramps, usually that means you're going to light and hit that 3 times to be able to light up a mode or something. There's 8 targets right here on the front part. So I'm hoping that there's actually some game involved with this, that it's not just going to be hitting targets and getting points. I think that's the thing that will really make or break this. It's not that you're not just playing this to gain points, but there's actually a game. You can kind of see they already started to have some 3D elements here of looks like a table. Maybe this could be the Mad Hatter table that you're bashing over here. And you start up a mode that looks like a ball lock up here to start up a multi-ball. Looks like there's a trapdoor here to get up to this ramp. And I don't even know how this little kind of loop shot on the right hand side with this post here, if you're going to be able to hit that from the left or flipper, or if you're supposed to get it from somewhere else. So I don't know what the flow of this game is going to be. It is just kind of that fan layout, and then it has kind of the pop bumpers in the middle. So pretty decent standard design. It looks pretty decent. The thing that's going to come down to it, I can't tell from these 3D renderings, is the quality of the plastic parts and things. Does this kind of look like a toy? It kind of does. It kind of looks like a cheap plastic toy at this point, So while the 3D renderings give you something to look at, I think that's the thing that is still yet to be able to know what the quality of this thing is going to be. And then also with the ball size being smaller. Again, these are 22 millimeter balls compared to 27 millimeter pinball. The actual game feel is gonna be different than a standard pinball machine. Like everybody knows, if you're flipping a real pinball machine, you kind of know the timing and the angles and the geometry to be able to flip something up a ramp or hit something. With the smaller ball, yes, it's weighted and it feels good, but it's gonna feel very different than a standard pinball machine. And even looking at these flippers also look smaller too. So it kind of reminds me of those toy flippers from what you would see like, in a smaller Pac-Man or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Like, I would have actually personally maybe even preferred to see a full-size ball and have less stuff in there and just still have it in that smaller size. Like, I saw homebrew games that were smaller in scale, but still use real parts, but they were still fun to shoot, and that was kind of a fun thing. But everything here in that smaller scale, these smaller flippers too, that I don't know if I like the size of these flippers. I think this is actually something that gives me a little pause in terms of the size of it. I know, yes, it's meant to be scaled with a smaller pinball as well, but that gives me some concern just looking at them offhand, that everything being slightly smaller, it's gonna take getting used to. It's not gonna like, hey, I'm gonna be able to play Godzilla and then jump to this or something like that. So if you played real pinball, it's definitely not gonna feel great. I guess this was gonna be somebody for some that's never played and is just wanting to kind of flip and feel. It's too early to tell, but I think the flippers and the look of it from a 3D rendering, that's the thing that gives me the most pause. But otherwise, I do think they put a lot in here so far, so they can dress it up with artwork. There's some other things. I remember hearing the development team was talking about whether they're going to add figures or toys or things like there. There's no other complicated mechs in this, right? Besides this bash ball right there, and then kind of this lock mechanism, and then this. I don't know what this little flip thing is going to be too. So this is 3D renderings, but it kind of worries me about breaking at some point too. If that's going to be a hinged door to be able to open and get into the space. So I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. Hopefully we'll get more information in January when it gets closer to CES, but these are the first renderings of this. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section as well. Hopefully we'll get more and more details with the artwork, and it'll just start looking better and better. I hope they redesign the back box as well. We're going to see what it looks like pretty soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.